Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Municipality of Monroeville Zoning Hearing Board meeting for Wednesday, November 1st, 2023. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Karen, when we have a roll call, please.
Mr. Grisiak?
Here.
Mr. D'Agostino?
Here.
Mrs. Wilkins?
Here.
Mr. Gatos?
Here.
Mr. Hutchison? Mr. Dice?
Here.
Mr. Weldon?
Here. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for the minutes of October 4th, 2023. First off, are there any changes or corrections? I think we gave
Actually,
a
I
couple
gave-
typos.
To Sharon already.
We had a couple things.
And the one thing on page 1, Sharon, did you get that we did not do the Lord's Prayer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. May I have a motion then?
I'll make a motion for approval.
Motion, a second, please?
Second.
Motion and second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Okay, under old business, at the end of last meeting, we formally voted to end all testimony for the 10 variance requests for OWPH Devco LLC, and these pertain to the erection of 2 electronic billboards along Parkway East westbound. Paul, we did receive a correspondence from Devco.
Yes, they requested to be tabled one more month. So we have that in writing.
Okay, do we need to enter that as exhibit?
Yes, we'll enter that notice, request for continuance into the record. This is their first request for tabling, and ordinarily, we have made it a policy to honor the request of the applicant for the first tabling motion. I should say that we've had testimony August, September, and October, and now we're into November. So this has been going on for some time. There must be 9 or 10 hours of testimony that's already been taken. They've made a request to table, and my suggestion is that you would honor that. Since that time, we also received I received some correspondence from some residents concerning a position on the billboards. And the position was against the billboards, I think it was fair to say. I see them in the audience tonight. I will make sure that those documents that have been submitted to me will be also part of the record so that it's the entire situation. With that, a motion would be in order to go ahead and table it tonight.
We have a motion to table these 10 items to our December meeting, please.
I'll make the motion to.
Motion second?
Second.
Motion and second, and all in favor of postponing decisions on the 10 Devco items, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Okay. Now, what I'm saying to ladies over here who have
And gentlemen,
and gentlemen, who have put on various statements to my office, those documents will become part of the record. If you feel that you want to say something tonight, this board is not going to address it. You can certainly put whatever you want to on the record, but I would advise this board not to respond to anything that might be said, because we have said that the record is closed. And if the applicant comes in next month and says, I want to open the record, I'm going to be hard pressed to say, yes, we should. They should have left the record open in the initial inquiry last month. They didn't do that. So there has to be an end to this. We've had, I think, a lot of repetition in the form of the testimony to this date, and I don't think it's fair to the applicant, if they're not here, that people get up and testify about the matter, albeit they're residents, they're here, they obviously have some vested interest, or otherwise they wouldn't be here. I've not seen them here before. So I would suggest to you that the record should stay closed. And that's what I would say to this. I don't want the applicant getting up next month and saying, wait a minute, you let residents get up and testify. We want to respond to that. We've had all the testimony we need. This board's informed about what the positions are concerning these billboards. And, you know, it remains to be seen. You have to make decisions next month. Remember, this is quasi-judicial in nature, so it's not like it's a public hearing before council. You're acting as a judge in this matter, so I don't think it's fair to the applicant to let witnesses start to testify. Albeit I can't stop them from getting up and saying what they want to.
With that said, are there folks that would like to just?
I mean, if there's a need to say something, remember, there's been 9 or 10 or 12 hours worth of testimony already.
How many folks would plan on speaking?
Dave and myself and Georgiana.
Okay, could we just ask you to try to condense what you might be
Sure.
saying?
And I would like to present these in record. I signed them and testified to them also.
Are these the items that you sent to Mr. Dice?
Yes.
Okay,
some
he
of-
said that
some of
those
them-
would be put into the record,
Some of them are.
but we can't, I don't know that we can accept any additional.
Yeah, we have to end this, but go ahead, Dave.
Okay. I will submit some documentation to Bruce about what I'm going to say tonight. So I figured I'd at least get it on the record tonight, and then I would send you a copy. And,
If you could state your name.
Would you,
Oh,
yes, for the record?
yes. Actually, my name is David Cooker, and I'm a Monroeville resident.
Dave, have you signed in? Have you-
Yes, I
okay,
did.
Thank you.
Yes, I did. And I'm also a former councilman for Monroeville, and I'm from Ward 2. During my tenure as a councilman, we had the billboard applications come before us for our consideration, similar to the ones that are before the zoning hearing board tonight. I voted no on these billboard applications, and I'm humbly requesting the zoning hearing board vote no on them too. And I'll state my reasons why. The first is when you review these applications, I mean, it's pretty clear, at least to me, that and they do want a variance, that the board is supposed, and I read this from the MPC, the board is taking everything into consideration, and they will provide the minimum variance that will provide relief. And I don't believe that this is minimum. I believe this is an egregious request for what they're asking. And the example is the size of a billboard, if I'm reading this correctly, in our zoning ordinance, it's only 150 square feet. And the applicant wants a billboard on two sides for a total of 672 square feet per side. And again, this is no minimum. This is egregious. And that's just one reason why I believe this should be denied. The second one is Monroeville doesn't benefit from this financially or aesthetically. When one travels a corridor from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania into Atlantic City, New Jersey, it's quite clear who benefits from these gigantic billboards. One, the billboard company, and two, the industry located in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And that industry is now represented in downtown Pittsburgh, not Monroeville. The third and final problem I have is with Lady Bird Johnson's Highway Beautification Act of 1965. The purpose of the law, as I'm sure you folks know, is an attempt to limit billboards and other forms of outdoor advertising and other unsightly roadside messes. And for over 40 years, Monroeville has set aside over 1,000 acres of recreation park and conservancy lands for the benefit of our residents. And the residents really enjoy those parklands. I'm sure some of you are enjoying them at some time in your life while you're living here in Monroeville. When the municipality is just putting up roadway signs to indicate whatever it is that they want to indicate on the roads, now all of a sudden, the residents who normally had that green space in front of when they looked out their front window, well, now they see this sign. And I can assure you, residents don't want to see a sign when they look out their front window. And I can only imagine if they saw this big billboard traveling from Monroeville to Pittsburgh on I-376, I can only imagine just how irate they would be, road rage. And so, in conclusion, during President Johnson's 1965 State of the Union address, he said, and I quote, "We must take a massive effort to save the countryside and establish as a green legacy for tomorrow more large and small parks, more seashores and open spaces than have been created during any other period in our national history." And lady and gentlemen of the zoning hearing board, again, I would ask that you maintain the green legacy, which has been created here, started over 40 years ago. And I'm humbly asking you to vote no on these applications. And that's all I had.
Thank you very much.
And I'll get you that.
Okay. In fact, you can get it to Sharon.
Yes, I can definitely give it to her.
Hello.
Good
everybody.
evening. Have you signed in, please?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. And would you state your name?
Janice Olszewski, 101 Asbury Court, Monroeville. I'm a resident of Monroeville also. And I was at the prior zoning meetings, of which I have numerous information from previous meetings from 2004, 2005, 2007, 2014, and so on. And this board has consistently denied, and I would request a denial again, please. And some of the information that I sent to Mr. Dice was the billboard amendment that was recently passed by Congress, disallowing any changes to the zoning requested for billboards. And I have this present here, and I can share this with everybody. And also I have a letter here that I wrote, and I have signed it and dated it as of today in accordance with, it was blank originally, but I sent it anyhow. And I've highlighted some things in particular, and they have not, the applicant has not shown undue necessary or undue hardship, unnecessary hardship due to the conditions, not the circumstances or conditions generally by the zoning ordinance in the neighborhood or the district in which it's located. The narrowness and shallowness of the site itself, they're saying that it cannot be developed for any other reason, but if you drive down the parkway, you'll notice all the residential that's been developed on some of the lands that's just gone up, and we certainly don't want to impede those people with billboards, electronic billboards that are almost as large as the wall behind you. And, so I would request that this agreement not be honored and not be approved by the zoning commission, which it has not in the past. And I have letters to prove it. And also in compliance with any of the newer communities such as Fox Chapel and Sewickley and Mount Lebanon and Murraysville and so on, none of them have approved billboards as the older communities have, such as Monroeville and some of the other smaller communities in the city of Pittsburgh and so on. But the unnecessary hardship has not been proven because of the size, and they're saying that it cannot be altered, and that because of the no developer wants to build within sight of the electronic billboards, and that is true. And they're saying that the electronic billboards will present a significant traffic hazard on the parkway because of the bright light and the motion, as well as any future construction and deviation of the lanes during the construction, which will be possible, which will not be possible. And that there's no reason, acceptable reason, for larger signs, and the variance should be denied. And that electronic billboards do not contribute to any of the local economy, but they do contribute value only to commercial chains or so on and so forth. So they have not met the 5 criteria of which the applicant cannot demonstrate the purpose that satisfies the strict applicable review criteria outlined in the Pennsylvania Municipal Planning Code and Monroeville zoning ordinance. And I have that specified in here, and these are part of the documents that I've given to.
Why don't you give those
And I'll give
to
those,
Sharon? Yeah.
yes, I will. And that's part of these are the documents that I've signed now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening.
This briefcase I have here is filled with information and research that I've done from 2005 until today. And I can tell you, this is not the first time billboards have come before us. I sat on the Planning Commission in 2015 when we denied billboards. And this is an absolute safety hazard to not only the residents of Monroeville, but to anybody passing through our community. I mean, as I said, I will not get into this tonight, but we will be prepared to take it forward if we have to. You know, I think you all have a responsibility to the residents here in Monroeville. The hardship will be with the residents here in Monroeville, with the first responders, and this has to stop. You know, every few years they come back, if it's a different date and a different time. And I'm asking you to flat out deny this, because I've had enough information in here, believe me, for us to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Okay.
So this matter has been tabled. Again, I caution you not to make any comments as to what the testimony has been tonight. And let's move to
Or
the
comments,
first
no testimony, comments.
comments.
Yep.
Move to the first item on the agenda tonight.
Paul, new business.
Okay, first
Thank you,
item,
folks.
23-31-A, Matthew Wilson. Applicant requested dimensional variance from section 207.3A lot and yard requirements of the Monroeville zoning ordinance number 1443 as amended to install a 10 by 12 storage shed that will encroach approximately 8 feet into the required 10-foot side yard setback for accessory structures. The property address is 309 Newberry Drive, tax parcel 976N004, in the R3 multiple family residential zoning district, and the shed has already been installed.
Is the applicant present?
Yes,
Please come forward. And have you signed in?
yes.
Please state your name and spell it for the secretary, please.
Matthew Wilson, MattheWilson.
Would you please raise your right hand?
Let me
You-
think about it.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm in the matter before us to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your case.
So when getting the shed, I looked at the permit requirements, and it was complete oversight on the zoning. I looked at the building requirements, and I seen that anything under 120 square feet and below did not need a permit. What that meant was building permit, and there's the oversight right there. So I had the shed installed. I had a cement pad put in and the shed installed. Where the shed is installed there's approximately 6 feet of property, mine and my neighbors, that I take care of. It's on the opposite side of the fence, right? I take care of that property. I spoke with my neighbor about it, and, is there pictures?
Yes.
Okay, great. I spoke with my neighbor about it, and he signed a statement saying that it wasn't an issue. So, he's the only one it impacts. I mean, I know it's a zoning issue, I understand that. But as far as, anybody that has to look at it, you can barely see it from the street. I even offered to put, trees up for the neighbor, to block the shed, and he refused it. He said, "Don't worry about it."
Okay.
You can see this, well, it was up there. You can see that the shed is in good taste. I spent a lot of money on the shed. In fact, I spent a ton of money, time, and love on our yard to make it more usable. I do all my own work as far as all the outside maintenance, so I needed a shed. It was just, there was just a lot of stuff in the house and in the garage.
There's another picture there that shows the fence. Is that your fence?
That's it, that's the neighbor's fence.
Neighbor's fence, okay.
Yeah, and all that, what I was saying is all that property from the fence to the shed, I take care of that. And I even told him I would still put trees there if he was, to make it look nice.
Behind the shed?
Say that again, sir?
Trees behind the shed?
Yeah.
Referring to?
Yeah,
Cover it up?
yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's all I
Is
have.
there any other folks that would like to speak, or anybody that would like to speak for or against this matter? Sir? Come forward and sign in, please.
Right here?
Yes? And if you would also state and spell your name for the secretary?
Yes, John, John, Wiggins, Wiggins. And I'm at 315 Newberry Drive, so I'm Matt's neighbor. Just
To the left of him or
Yeah,
to the
looking
right?
at looking at his house to the right.
To the right, okay, not, you don't own the fence to the.
No.
By the shed,
You're on
okay.
the other side.
Yes, I'm two doors. There's me, one other neighbor, then Matt.
Okay.
And then the neighbor who he's had in his pictures.
Would you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm on the matter before us to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please state your case.
I just came to speak on Matt's behalf, that I walk the neighborhood every night, and I saw the steps he took with the planting the trees, and it is a beautiful shed. It's, when we walked by and looked at it, we said, my wife and I said, he didn't put some plastic type thing from Sam's Club. It's a Amish built, it's a beautiful piece. And then the addition of the pines, you can't really see it from the road. And we walked back, and in addition to all the other work he did back there with the landscape, the boulders and the cement pads, and really did a beautiful job. And there was nothing distasteful about anything, and I just figured I'd come, anything I could do to help him, speak on his behalf, that I'm in favor.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Please come forward. Do you need a microphone put, could we move the microphone to be in front of her? Would that be a problem, folks, guys?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Would you state your name and spell it for the secretary, please?
Luna Wilson, LunaWilson.
And would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm in the matter before us to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please.
I'm Matthew Wilson's wife. My husband did a whole undertow on our house because, as you can see, it's hard for me to get around. I'm also autistic, so a lot of things have to be in certain ways for me to actually be able to survive, you know. Him getting a shed is because my car is in a garage, and he actually made the garage into like my bedroom for my car. There's like pictures and everything hanging around. So, and he I don't know, anything that's concerning me, he actually looks out and try to take care of it. So nothing would like agitate, or, you know, I can't deal with surprises or anything like that. So the shed is not only where he keeps his tools and everything at, is also where he can go to actually decompress from me. So yeah, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from anybody else in the audience? Any questions from board members?
I
Oh.
would just like to say one thing.
You have to come forward, please. And
The,
1 minute, please, till you get to the microphone. I need to swear you in. Do you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm on the matter before us to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. And I would like to congratulate Mr. Wilson and Mrs. Wilson on the amount of work that they've done, unlike what has happened in the plan where I live, where I've talked to Mr. Weldon about it several times, and they put up a garage, it's called a shed, quote unquote. And I was talking to the gentleman that was walking around one Saturday, and I said, well, who are you? You know, because I'm myself, and I wondered who he was. And he said, well, I'm a county assessor. He said, they're not going to be real happy with it. It's not a shed. And I asked what the zoning regulations were, which I feel should be addressed by this board. And there should be some type of stipulation on the size of the sheds to be built, because a shed is not 40 feet long. And this is a garage, and it's 10 by 40 and 12 by 40. And so this is something that is not pleasant, is highly visible from the roads, and is something that is not pleasant, as Mr. Wilson has done. And another accommodating neighbor, Mr. Klein, also put up a shed, but he did it, as Mr. Wilson did, very tastefully, and nobody, you know, he offered to plant more plantings, and he has some plantings around it, and things of that nature. But the gentleman along Cabot Road has not done so. And I would ask this board to please, please look at the zoning regulations and make sure that there is some type of legislation in there regarding the size of the sheds to be built. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Any questions from the board?
No.
Have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made to approve, second, please.
I'll second.
Motion and second, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Keep up the nice work in your yard.
Very nice.
Love the boulders in the back.
You guys can leave if you like, or you can stay.
Yep. Yeah, anybody that wants to leave, you're welcome to stay, and let's pause a minute before we go. Be careful out there. See ya.
Take care.
Happy Thanksgiving. Well, we're in November.
We won't be
No,
back
no, we're
until-
past Candy
We won't
Day.
be back till December.
We won't be back till December, yeah.
Don't rush it.
People rush it enough. Home Depot selling Valentine's candy ready. Just kidding.
Okay, Paul, next
Okay,
item.
item 2, 23-32-A, Paul Seneca. Applicant requested dimensional variance from section 207-3A, lot and yard requirements of the Monroeville zoning ordinance number 1443 as amended, to install an 8-foot by 12-foot storage shed in the front yard. The property address is 407 Center Road, tax parcel 855F380, in the R2 one-family residential zoning district, and the shed has already been installed.
Is the applicant present?
No, he is, I represent my brother Paul.
Okay, we did get some correspondence. Please step forward. Did you sign
My
in,
name,
sir?
yeah, I signed in. My name is Patsy, Patsy, Seneca, Seneca.
Patsy,
my
would you
rep-
raise your right
Yes,
hand,
I'm
please?
sorry.
Do you swear or affirm in the matter before us to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Excuse me.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Please state your case, or your brother's
I'm
case.
Penn Hills resident. My brother Paul Seneca lives on Center Road, and he's been a Monroe resident for many years. He's a teacher. He asked me to come here because he's ill. He went through this variance and everything before about the garage, and somehow he missed contact about the shed. I mean, he bought the cart before the horse. So he's asking for a variance to keep the shed where it's at, behind the garage. I mean, it's a Amish-built shed along with a garage, it's all through the specifications and everything. And he just wants to try to keep it there on solid ground because he had the area with the asphalt in comparison to putting it on wet ground where they have trouble with animals and stuff like that. So my case is the very well leave it, that he had made a mistake beforehand, and I would just ask him for the variance to keep the shed there.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have to say.
Paul, on the picture, not Paul, I'm sorry.
I'm
Patsy.
That's fine,
Patsy.
that's fine.
On the picture that's on the screen, we have your brother's house to the right, which is, there's no basement, it's just a
Yeah.
a prefab.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have a garage-type unit, and then to the left of that is the shed in question, that's a new shed?
Shed's in question, yes, sir.
Now, there's other pictures we have that there's a gazebo in the back.
Yes.
And also, there's another, is that other shed also his?
That's also his also.
Okay. And the pictures we have with the gazebo, there's a lot of stuff
Stuff, yes.
in the gazebo.
Yes.
So it's one of those issues that we're also concerned about, just the appearance.
Appearance of it, I would, in my honest opinion, we would try to take care of, get the stuff away from the possible view of everybody and use it as it's supposed to be used. That's why he possibly bought the shed, to store personal items in it that's unseen.
The other question I think that some of the folks on the board have, or the concern, is that just the number of sheds on one piece of property along with a garage and a gazebo.
Yes. Well, I don't know what the ordinance is. I would put a bigger garage in where the shed was, but he had got the approval of the garage, which he probably should have got a bigger garage or wider garage. So the only thing I could say on behalf of my brother is that we'd clean up his act, get everything it's not supposed to be outside, inside his shed, and get cleaned up. So it is more respectful to look at his property without saying stuff.
The shed that's already there, I guess
Yes,
to the
to the
left of the
backside of
house,
it.
what types of things, if I may ask, were stored in that shed?
His lawnmower and more or less, the shed's in bad shape. It's probably should be torn down. The door, it needs a lot of repair. But he keeps his lawn guard and lawnmower and stuff like that inside it. The garage he has his car in and very other stuff. And it's not as solid, the shed you're in question is not as solid as the one he had just purchased. It's airtight, animal-proof, and more solid. So whatever we have to do to get this approved, I will try to help the cause.
Anybody else in the audience to comment, or? Paul, have you heard from any neighbors?
No.
Other folks on the board?
So in the picture that was just out there, the shed in question that we're approving or not approving is the one next to the garage, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It's the
It's the old
reddish,
one. And so that, is it, I guess, is there a variance, Paul, that's being requested, or what exactly is?
Yeah, he's here for a variance for the smaller shed in the photo. And that is, we don't permit accessory structures in the front yard.
Okay, so the variance would be from it being in the front yard, basically.
Would it be possible for him to build a bigger garage, so he only has one garage in the front?
Well, he went through a lot with the township here about anything's possible, okay? Of getting the right materials for his garage and stuff like that. I can't answer that question.
Right.
Anything's possible. That's probably why he needed more space, and that's why he built the shed, or
I'm
got
just
the
looking
shed.
at it, like, for the aesthetics of it, having
I don't know whether we can do something, maybe just to vacate it, to maybe look like one from the front yard, or move it closer. I don't know what's possible, what you would recommend without doing a lot of unnecessary work. I'm here to try to help the cause.
how long has the shed been up?
Shed's only been up a few months, 6 months maybe. I mean, the garage has been there a year or so, because I did some work in there. And he keeps his car in there. He always wanted a garage. It was for his significant other, but she had passed. So he, bought himself something when he retired.
You said the other shed next to the house is in bad shape. Is there any chance he would tear that down and be able to have his garage and the new shed suffice for all his stuff?
Well, the reason why he put it there, he had asphalted the area because it was a parking slot. He has a circle run, as you can see, and there was a parking area. He had it paved, and I guess when he came here for the variance, so he could put the shed on solid ground, you know, to make it easier. I think he just put parking, then he decided to put a garage there, and it's the only solid ground he has rather than pouring a concrete slab, because the other one's just on the ground, the one in the back is just on the ground. So he would have to go through a lot to put concrete and rebuild it and move it, and, you know, we're just trying here to see what I can do to keep it.
I know you're in a tough spot being a representative and.
I understand that. It's the first time. I've never been in a thing like this, so, you know, I'm not a speaker. I'm surprised I'm even talking. But,
You're doing fine.
You're fine.
I'm just trying to, I worked for Penn Hills for 34 and a half years. I'm just trying to figure out a cause for my brother who's in not good shape right now. But that's not an excuse. He asked me to come. I come here to see the best I can do and try to say the best things that we can get this thing moving, or do something to make it look better. Whether I put a fake facade in the front to make it look like the garage, so it doesn't look like two different structures. So it's up to you guys, and women, sorry.
Other board members, questions?
Paul, is there any ideas here of what could be done or not done to?
Well, on the positive side, the shed is not fastened to the ground. It's not on footings or piers, so it could be relocated on the property.
Okay.
Now, Patsy has mentioned, you know, he doesn't necessarily need to pour a new concrete pad. He could put gravel down or patio stones, but it is somewhat mobile.
So, like, I'm sorry, if he would take down the other shed that's falling apart, he could put gravel down and put that shed there?
Yeah, anything's possible, yeah. I mean, I guess the reason why he put it there, like, again, I'm talking about the asphalt. He already had a solid area there, and it's solid, it's clean, you know, don't worry about it, it's foolproof. Where the other one probably could have put some work in and done the same thing, but he's put more of a personal items in this other one. So whatever we have to do, we have to do. I mean, I'm not trying to BS anybody here, I'm just trying to help the cause.
What's the pleasure?
Well, unfortunately, I'm in favor of not approving, because the aesthetics of it, to me, I would hope that they would be able to relocate it at a different location, in the backyard or somewhere, putting gravel down or something like that. It just, from looking at the street, I see 3 sheds. It's just, I don't know. It's just,
Is there any feeling about maybe postponing it, having Patsy talk to his brother about the,
I mean, I could
Prospects.
talk to him, but you're the people, ladies and gentlemen, have to decide what is best for the community, you know? If it's an eyesore, which they're both building, but if there's a policy that you're not allowed to have this, like it says, he's probably figuring that you okayed the garage, okay? And we already went through the garage of, you know, one seller calls it a shed, one calls it a garage, but he had to go through the specs of make sure the material's right for this shed garage to house his flammable vehicle, his car in there. So you tell me what we have to do, and he's gonna have to abide by it.
entertain a motion?
Yeah, I'd be willing to table it to see if there's something else we can do with it, versus having to.
I'm fine with tabling it.
Okay, so you're making a motion.
I'll make a motion to table it to next month.
I'll second it.
Motion table and seconded. All in favor of tabling? Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, my best advice to you, you got a house and 3 structures.
Hey,
I mean, that's a mess.
I got 3 houses.
4 structures with a gazebo.
4 structures, yeah, with a gazebo. You heard the suggestion of one of the board members of tearing down the old one and moving the other one to that location. My thoughts are, if you can come back to us and tell us you're gonna do that, you might hear this board say, we'll grant the variance. But it's difficult to grant variances when there's already an impact of several structures on one site.
I understand it completely. I can say we'll tear the other one down, dude, but I have to consult with him.
Okay.
And whether, let me ask this. If it was put beside, you're just saying there's too many structures on this property?
Sure.
Okay, which I can understand that.
It
You know,
doesn't take a rocket
I'm a
scientist.
homeowner too. I have 3 houses.
Okay,
So, I can understand this, but,
okay. So ordinarily, what the board would have done is voted it down.
okay.
They gave
If
you a
they don't want to come firsthand and ask for that shed, they would have voted it down.
They think you're a nice guy.
Huh? Pardon me?
I think they think you're a nice guy. You got a month
Me?
to figure it out.
If you don't know me, well, no.
Talk to our zoning officer.
Okay.
And see what you can do about eliminating the bad shed, the old shed, the deteriorated shed, and moving this shed there.
But you know who has to do that?
You.
Doesn't matter to me.
Me, a nice brother.
Okay, well, that's why you're
why you're
giving him a
nice.
kiss.
Because I don't know how to say no. How do you say it? No. You said it was a nice guy?
That's why you're from Erie.
Perry?
Erie.
I know, I heard
Oh,
you.
okay.
All right, so you have
Sight
a
is the
direction.
first thing. My son says if I can't hear, he'd give me his house.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
this matter will be on our agenda next month, so
Okay.
you'll have to come back.
Not a problem.
Okay, let us know.
See you
Do
next
something in the
month.
meantime, pardon me?
So we'll see you next month.
Hopefully not me, maybe him, but
Well,
I'd
come-
come here just to see everybody.
Come
It
for
was nice.
support.
Never been to one of these, but I appreciate everything you did, and
Maybe come up with a couple solutions, if there's a couple of ideas as well.
I told him to sell the house and go into a senior
Great
home.
idea.
All right.
All right,
Thanks for your
thanks.
time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Have a good
Patsy.
night.
I got a lot of stories. Thank you.
All right. Next item, Paul.
Last item, 23-33-A, Leo McCoskey. Applicant requested dimensional variance from section 207-3A, lot and yard requirements of the Monroeville zoning ordinance number 1443 as amended, to install a 10-foot by 12-foot storage shed that will encroach approximately 3 feet into the required 10-foot side yard setback for accessory structures and 1 foot into the required 10-foot rear yard setback for accessory structures. The property address is 526 Bellwood Avenue, tax parcel 543L048, in the R2 one-family residential zoning district.
I take it you're the applicant.
I am,
You state your name and spell it, please, for the secretary.
excuse me, Leo McCoskey, Leomakoskey.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm in a matter before us to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please, state your case.
I simply want to put a 120 square foot shed on the northeast corner of my property. Both of those boundary lines are screened by trees on each side. My backyard neighbor also has about a 6-foot fence that also screens it. And as Paul has said, it's going to be encroaching into the 10-foot setback by about 3 1 foot.
Paul, any correspondence from any neighbors or anybody?
None.
Anybody in the audience would like to speak on behalf or against? Any questions from the board?
Is your neighbor aware of it on the left of you, that you're putting the shed up?
No, I haven't told him, no.
Okay.
The property was posted.
Okay.
Orange placards
Okay.
were.
So he's
And
aware.
again, on the left side, the trees are much more mature. They're about 20 feet tall. It's a
Okay.
screen.
Is it a possibility to move the shed in and over so you won't need the variance? You're talking like a 1 foot and 3 feet.
Unfortunately, I have a very mature maple tree that's, I can't get it any closer outside of the 10-foot setback. So no, that's not very possible.
And that's a picture of the front of your house right there.
Oh, yeah, that's, well, but and the fence is, in the center, you see the screen that we have. Those are my trees, the evergreens that I planted that go along the side of the property. The shed will be all the way into the far corner of that property. Where you see a little bit of yellow, that little speck of yellow there, the shed will be right in that area. And you can see some of the evergreens that border the back parcel.
Now, what kind of shed are you putting up? Is it wood?
Yes,
or-
yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, motion?
I'll make a motion for approval.
Second?
I'll second it.
Motion and second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Good luck with your project.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good night.
Thank you also. Nothing else, I'll entertain one other motion.
Motion to adjourn?
We have a second?
Second?
Motion and seconded. We are in adjournment. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Thanksgiving.